What do you think the follow-up to a season where your star duo averages 58 points, 15 assists, and 14 rebounds, winning 50 games in a stacked Western Conference to secure a 5th seed after trading for 2 essential pieces and seeing your rookie center become a real factor in your success, then sending the 1st, 3rd, and 4th seeds to Cancun en route to your first NBA Finals with this core? How do you think the season after that would go? The 2024-2025 NBA season for the Mavericks is the season sent straight from hell. The entire year, this team has been injury-riddled from the word go. We've had injuries in the beginning of the season to Luka, Klay Thompson, PJ, and even Kyrie was missing a good chunk of games. Throughout that time, we were winning games though. We were beating teams that honestly we probably shouldn't have been beating. We beat the Thunder a couple of times without Luka. We won the season series with the Thunder without Luka. So the entire time, I feel like in that span of games in the beginning of the season, we still looked really, really good. Either way, Luka Doncic ends up coming back. We get a little bit healthy, and we look like the best team in basketball. When we actually played with what was supposed to be our starting 5, we look like the best team in basketball, and the stats definitely back that up. After that, Luka gets hurt on Christmas, not to return for some time, but we're all awaiting his return, and we all expect him to be back and better than ever within the time frame that his injury has proposed, or so we thought. We played some decent basketball still without Luka for about a month and some change. We had some good wins, we had some bad losses, not as good as it was in 2024, the end of 2024 without Luka, when we were really streaking and beating all these teams, but we were still keeping our head above water, which is all we really needed. We just needed to keep our head above water until Luka came back so we could make a finals push. And then February 2nd happens.
Breaking news on SportsCenter this morning, the Lakers and Mavericks making it a blockbuster night. Luka Doncic headed to the Lakers, Anthony Davis headed to the Mavericks in a seismic trade that shakes up the reigning Western Conference champion Mavs and gives LeBron James in Los Angeles a 25-year-old superstar who's been All-NBA first team for 5 straight years.
In the middle of the night, early February 2nd, Shams Charania ends up tweeting the most shocking trade that had everybody around the basketball world confused, shocked, and just not really knowing what to think about the situation. And Shams tweeted that Luka Doncic just got traded for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first. Fans of the Mavericks were absolutely devastated. There was fake memorials being held. There was Fire Nico chants, memorials of Luka being painted all around the city. It's really an event that affected every single Mavs fan, and honestly it affected Dallas as a whole. Being that this trade went down, obviously the GM Nico Harrison is going to have a huge target on his back. Fire Nico chants could be heard at SMU. Fire Nico chants could be heard at medieval times at the AAC. Fire Nico! Fire Nico chants could be heard at Dallas Stars games. Fire Nico chants could be heard in San Antonio, and of course Fire Nico chants are gonna be at Dallas Mavericks games, which caused a couple of fans to get kicked out of the arena. The front office, after trading Luka, just continued to slander him, talking about his weight, his work ethic, and how the team would just be better off without him. He doesn't fit the chemistry or the look of the team, and his defensive regimen is just not good enough for us to win a championship. They kept going with that mantra, we're doing this for the long term, and defense wins championships. And the two things that are wrong with those is that A, you cannot be doing this for the long term if you just traded away Luka Doncic for a 32-year-old injury-prone Anthony Davis. And we also just made the finals last year. So the short and the long term both don't seem to make sense. You just traded your star player that got you to the finals. We didn't win, but it wasn't because of him that we lost, to be honest. If you really want to get into it, Kyrie would be more of a reason why we lost that series than Luka Doncic. Luka was the only offense we've had that entire series. But they go with that narrative. They needed to make a decision to make the team better in hopes of getting back to a championship and winning the next one the next time they get there. Instead of us seeing the big trade and how all these pieces are going to fit together, we end up seeing the worst possible outcome ever. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen something go downhill so bad. But to pile on top of this injury-riddled season, the newly acquired Anthony Davis, that was supposed to give Mav fans hope, and we were really hoping to see some good basketball from him and Kyrie and really justify this trade, and we saw that. For one half of basketball, Anthony Davis looked like one of the best players in the league, which he is, and he was just hooping. He was on a tear that game, and then the third quarter comes and no more AD. AD's first and potentially last minutes as a Maverick this season. Absolutely crazy work. From January to now, we've had at least 50% of our players out at any given time, and we've had all of our starters go down at some point this season. Right now, PJ Washington, Jaden Hardy, Max Prosper, Kai Jones, AD, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively have all either missed significant time or are expected to miss significant time, or both. They've already missed significant time and are expected to miss even more. So the Mavs are really just running out second and third stringers at this point, and none of our starters are here. None of our core players are here. So not a great situation to be in if you're Dallas. Even with all those injuries, Dallas Maverick fans still held out hope, because Kyrie Irving was giving the keys to the offense, and he looked like he was playing some of the best basketball of his career when given the opportunity. And all we needed was for Kyrie to keep us afloat. AD is going to come back at some point during the season. We're going to get Gaff back, D-Live back. We just got to get to the playoffs. And then Kyrie Irving gets hurt. Kyrie Irving tears his ACL, and he's out for the remainder of this NBA season, which is absolutely devastating, not only for the Mavericks, but for Kyrie Irving, who was playing so well, not only recently, but as of the entire season, to be honest, just leading this team. He's been the number one the entire season because Luka's just been out. He hasn't been here. So just to see how he's been the guy for the team this year and keeping us afloat for most of the season, to see him go down and all of our hopes pretty much go down with him, sucks. Going into this season, we were just expecting to build on our finals push last year. We added a piece like Klay Thompson to come and really fit in with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, get wide open shots. We added a guy like Najee Marshall off the bench to fill that Derrick Jones Jr. role, and I think he's filled it better than Derrick Jones Jr. So that's really what we were expecting going into the year. We were expecting our team that was already good to come in and continue to be good, and instead what we got was some of the worst injury luck ever. We got one of the worst trades ever, and our hopes went from going to the finals, those are dead, and now there's a possibility that we don't even make the playoffs. And if we do get into the playoffs through the play-in, the chances of us losing in the first round are super high. We don't have any of our core pieces right now. We don't know if they're going to return this season, especially AD. Kyrie, we already know, is out. We'd have to play the Thunder most likely in any scenario. Either the Thunder or whoever the 2 seed ends up being, which either way, it's not a great look for us. I don't think that's gonna end well for us in the playoffs. And this roster turnaround is also crazy. Last year, obviously, we went to the finals. Not even 9 months later, most of those players are inactive right now or not on the roster. They trade away Luka, obviously, and then, like I said, our entire core is hurt. The only people from that finals run that are actively playing right now are Dwight Powell and Dante Exum, who barely got minutes during the playoffs last year. So it's just crazy to see how drastically different this team looks just 9 months away from a finals push. I don't think we've ever seen something like this in NBA history, where we've seen a team that's super duper good go ahead and trade their star player, and then everything just falls down from that point on. Just to see how the front office was so quick to trade away our star player and not even give him a chance to run it back. And they said they were absolutely adamant on trading him in the offseason if he wasn't gone by the trade deadline. And I just feel like all of these sentiments make no sense. Like, how do you not let your best player try again? At least he's gotten to a Western Conference final with lesser players. He's now gotten to a finals when you actually build a roster around him that fits his play style, and now he's gone. And it would really help if we had some Luka Doncic minutes right now, I'll tell you that much. Now that he's healthy again, he got healthy just around the same time that AD got hurt, and now he's hooping for the Lakers, and he's putting up big numbers for the Lakers, even though he's still getting used to that system, getting used to those players. Just to see him put up numbers that he used to put up in Dallas and not being able to have that anymore. Even Luka was always a fallback option if anything went south. Luka is the type of player where you can hand him and roll out some of the worst lineups you've ever seen, and he'll somehow find a way to get you wins. And honestly speaking, you roll out Luka with some of these lineups that we got going on right now, we'd be winning more games. Just true facts. I've seen Luka win games with Trey Burke and Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber starting. So I'm just saying, if you give Luka these guys, I'm sure he can make something shake, and we'd actually be more poised to make the playoffs right now for sure. But yeah, this is just a really crazy situation. This is the worst possible outcome that the Mavericks could have had this season by any stretch of the word. I honestly did not see any of this on the radar. The Kyrie ACL injury, trading away Luka, AD coming in, getting people's hopes up, getting hurt immediately, then shutting down his season after Kyrie gets hurt, which I'm not too mad at. It makes sense. Why push an injury-prone player to come play when his co-star's not going to be there? So this is all over the place. This is an all over the place season for the Mavericks. Unbelievable what's going on. It feels like it's just bad luck, but some of this got to be reprimanded, bruh. Some of this got to be reprimanded for that trade. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, this is direct karma for Nico Harrison and the Dermonts for doing what they've done to this franchise in just 9 months. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you did not enjoy the video, make sure to sub, because you will enjoy the next one, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.